2, 1. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Frontline Network's Company of Heroes 2 World Championship Bronze matches. We're back for Game 2 of our Marcus vs Symbiosis series. In our last game, if you go back and check out our Game 1, we saw Marcus take on the Ostier and put in a very strong early game performance, but unfortunately it was ultimately bested by that rather nasty combination Symbiosis used of double Su-85s and double snipers. But as we head into Game 2, the factions are reversed, and we're going to be seeing what Symbiosis can do when he takes on the Germans on Kolodny Firma.
Yep, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can drain more VPs of Marcus or just pull a direct win out of this. Because if he does, he's won. That's 2-0 in that case, because the bronze matches are a best of 3. The only matches in the tournament that was a best of 5 was the finals, because it's the finals, right? So you gotta have a best of 5. You gotta, you gotta even throw in the endurance test as well, and then you do a best of 5. And if it goes to a 2-2 stalemate, and you gotta play that 5th match, you've played already 4 matches, which can span anything from 15 minutes at the earliest, I'd say, in Company of Heroes 2, because it's quite hard to, outright win. You can't really base annihilate anybody, and there's always a possibility of a comeback. So most people at least stick on for 15 or 20 minutes, even if they get completely dominated in an early game. But, say that I think all of the finals game took 30 minutes plus. They've already played for 2-3 hours, and then they have to play another 5th game. That's an endurance test.
Oh yeah, and these guys, they had been playing several series. I believe Marcus had actually played about 4 series by the time he
played
came
the
to this
quarters against Peter because they postponed it due to time zone differences. Marcus being in Italy and Peter being in Canada, so they couldn't find a time on the Saturday to play their game, so they stalled it until Sunday morning.
There was a lot of games, basically. There was a lot of
games.
Yeah, lots of games. But let's get into this one from the 5-second mark. So let's unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Nothing unusual from Symbiosis in the beginning here. He's building his tier 1 building with its initial pyros, not adding on to another one. And, I've seen, the Relic devs, for example, get that extra pyro sometimes playing as Oster, and I've seen other players do it on stream.
Really. They do a little bit of both.
Maybe it's map dependent.
Could be. I mean, they
Moscow
never seem
outskirts.
to do the same thing twice, so it's very hard to sort of establish trends with them.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have a go-to build order. They just wing it. Like, today I'm going to build a T-70. And to get to the T-70, I will build tier 2 and get 2 Maxim, 3 conscripts, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, and then the other game, I'll do something completely different.
Yeah, I mean, because, talking to Peter, it was like, so what would be your go-to strategy for Ostier at the moment? And he'd be like, well, I quite like MGs, so I'll get some of those. And, you get an Eastern Grenadiers for the Panzerfaust, so I get some of those too. And then we'll just see how it goes. Which kind of reminded me there's this video on IGN which shows Quinn Duffy playing against one of the designers, I think. Not a balanced guy, but I think maybe an artist, something like that. And I remember the guy that Quinn Duffy was playing against saying, like, oh yeah, so I quite like MG42, so I'm going to get some of those. And then I'm going to try and take up the Brumbars. Yeah. And I was like, oh wow, okay.
This is not going to work.
This is an interesting way to play.
Looks like both players are kind of focusing on the south. We do have the second conscript out from Marcus going up in the north, but compared to Marcus's early game, where he went all north with his massive tier 1 and then extended down south to harass and just get some fuel income, for example, we're not seeing that right now. It seems like he's sending most of his units down south, Symbiosis. He's got his Gren and his MG, which was his 2 first units out of tier 1, while Marcus now sends 2 conscripts up, one from the center and one directly from the base, and I guess he's got his 3rd queued up. I can see the headquarters.
Yeah, the 3rd is already pumped out the 3rd conscript. But yeah, it is a sort of a total reversal, really, with Symbiosis choosing to go down here to the south instead. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird choice, honestly, if you ask me.
Fuel is closer to the Axis base in the south.
Fuel is closer, that's
true. The cutoff is brutal.
The cutoff is brutal, and you got all these hedges. And now, not only is that going to block your range, but it's also going to block the line of sight on your MGs.
Yeah, it's gonna... Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of guarding his cutoff and the strategic point closest to his base by putting his second unit that he feels at the MG in the building. He's gone Gren MG, Gren MG. And I believe this might be his choice in Tier 1, and he might be going for Tier 2 plate compared to Marcus that we saw last game in Game 1 of the bronze match, where he basically went directly to Tier 3, and then he had to backtech due to, you know, various circumstances, like getting a pack and getting P-grants against the infantry.
So we got our first proper engagement here of conscripts and combat engineers versus grenadiers. Grenadiers do retreat after taking just one casualty. They're not going to be sitting around to bleed. Too much manpower to Marcus at this point in the game.
Marcus got 2 conscripts up in the north. He's almost capped the entire northern part of Kolodny right now. And the MG from Symbiosis is moving up, setting up, actually protecting the Grenadiers in the center, going for that VP. He did almost get the VP in the south, but the conscripts got chased off his pile.
Look at this flank. He's coming from right from behind.
Oh, he lost the house.
Oh, no. Oh, that's not good.
Does he have Molotovs?
Does
he have anything to dislodge this?
No, I don't believe he does, because he's just started building a special rifle command, and he's building a mine down here in the bottom. If you check out, it's the same place that Symbiosis put mines.
Shoky. Very shoky point that to go for the munitions, you want to go through the hedges. That's the only option you basically have. You can go a little bit further north and go down from the center, or go a little bit further south, but sometimes you just want to go through, and one mine there is all it takes to basically, you know, create a couple of casualties. A poor Gren hits it, and I think it's, at the same time, it's a good thing that the opponent saw the mine getting placed there, because now Symbiosis is going to stay away from that area. At the same time, it's obviously bad, because now Symbiosis knows it's there, but it's hard to say which one is actually better, because that's either going to force a minesweeper on its Pioneer, or it's going to force him to use something I use when I play sometimes, when I see mines being placed and I see them being created and actually finished before I get to the combat engineers to chase them off, is use a rifle nade from my Grenadiers, because it's cheaper than the mine, so you still make a profit.
Exactly. I mean, you know, the old sort of Vico tried and tested approach to mines still holds true, which is that you saw a lot of lesser players would generally cancel their mines the moment that they thought their opponent had seen it, when in actuality, if it's early enough in the game, you're totally fine to keep letting your opponent see you're placing it, because unless he already has a minesweeper or already has a flamer or easy way of dealing with it, he's going to have to spend munitions to deal with it, or just avoid it altogether. It could actually be an even bigger pain in the ass than what it would actually be if he just ran it over. You know, it's very much the psychology of it is often worse.
Marcus tried coming in from the south. He might actually lose this score. Why is he not retreating? He is actually out of the firing arc of that MG, but he's very, very low health. Even if he would have retreated there, he most likely would have been shot down on retreat by the 2 Grens. Here comes the scout car now, instantly upgrading to the autocannon. Yeah, he knew the M3s were coming. He knew.
I mean, that M3 didn't even get a look in. He didn't even get a chance to wipe even one squad.
He doesn't even have a single kill yet. I think he did a little bit of health damage to one of the Grens. So that was basically it. So now a sniper out from Marcus. So no double or triple M3 build or something like that. He went for a sniper second after building, I guess, initial... Did he go for 3 conscripts and then the tier 1?
He did go for 3 conscripts, but of course he didn't lose one. He hasn't rebuilt that conscript. Instead, he opted to go for his sniper.
Does he have 18 aids? Why are these conscripts charging so low health? One man, focus fire from the Grenadiers, might be able to polish him off on retreat, but he's actually going to live miraculously.
He does have 18 aids, but yeah, this is not looking too good for Marcus again. For the second game in a row, he is taking quite a pounding, losing a lot of manpower, and of course that whole squad earlier on. And now Symbiosis, he's really sort of snowballing now. He's got his half-track out, he can reinforce in the field, although I think we did see a Grenadier go down.
Yep, a Grenadier just got sniped out. He tried to go to the half-track to reinforce, but he was down to 1 man. The sniper popped into the building, and that was enough. Now the half-track is charging in here. He's going to try and maybe block this sniper in the building and the armored car on the other side, which is chasing this M3. So low health, and he's still going to get away.
That's got to be infuriating right there for Symbiosis, for that M3 just to get away with its life. I mean, that could have been a death blow right there to finish it off right there.
Ooh, sniper very low health. You gotta consider every sniper man on the Soviet sniper team is I believe, 90 manpower.
Oh,
so
they're very expensive.
they're
Very
so if you
expensive.
even if you don't kill the entire team, if you kill one guy, you can it's almost 100 manpower right there.
If you can
One guy
snipe
is pretty
one
good.
guy every time he comes out, you're laughing. You'll be bleeding so much manpower. It'd be the equivalent of killing half a conscript squad. You know, with every sniper shot. It's very manpower efficient.
Gotta keep tabs on your sniper, but we saw some excellent sniper usage from especially Aimstrong, I have to say, in the finals when he used the sprint ability. He was everywhere with his sniper, and he never went for two. He just had the one sniper, I believe.
He just had the one sniper, and I think he got two
One
Vet
sniper?
3 snipers in his semis. So, I mean, we haven't even seen a single Vet 3 sniper until the tournament. We hadn't seen a single Vet 3 sniper in any of our shoutcasts. We hadn't even seen a Vet 2 sniper, I don't think. We'd seen
maybe
snipers
one or
come
something in a
out,
2v2,
get
but not in
killed,
1v1.
and then, you know, just no more were built after that. But, yeah, no,
Here we
it
go.
was a really cracking performance.
With Marcus's favorite unit composition, guard in an M3, Marcus car.
Marcus car, those guards with their telltale boom, boom, PTRS AT rifles there, taking a few chunks out of that armored car, but allowing it to get away in a fairly healthy state. We have our next unit out from Symbiosis. It's a Panzer Grenadier squad out of Tier 2.
Yep, Symbiosis just added to that with a pack as well, so I guess he's expecting those SUs to come out soon, and he can't really afford building a P4. I believe he hasn't even teched to Tier 3 yet, so he can't even put up the building. He could probably afford teching and building the building itself, but then it would be a while before he could actually afford building the P4. So he needs something against this Marcus car and also a potential SU, or maybe if Marcus just, you know, mixes it up and throws in a T70 or something, he needs some form of hard AT.
Honestly, he doesn't have a whole lot to worry about in terms of tanks just yet. He doesn't have any engineers near his base, and he hasn't yet started construction of any tier beyond his Tier 1, so he's still fairly low tech, and that could become a problem as we come into the 10th minute mark now.
Rifle nade attempt to kill the snipers down at the left-hand side south part. He actually loses one man there to an MG burst. That's 90 manpower down for Marcus right now. He's got the fuel in the north. He's trying to get the munitions point here, but he's continuously getting chased off by P-Grens, Grenadiers, and other things that Symbiosis throws up in the north here just to stall mainly, I believe. But I think it's going to be enough to keep Marcus in the game a little while longer, as Symbiosis is still in only Tier 2. He hasn't teched Tier 3 at all. So, I don't know. What Symbiosis has right now is basically what he's going to get. And he's adding on another Tier 2 unit, a secondary P-Gren squad coming out right now. And when there's only one sniper on the field, I guess that's okay. But if there were two, I would really not recommend getting P-Grens, because, yeah, every shot the two squads take is also 90 manpower, 45 each.
Well, it's funny you mention more snipers, because that's exactly what Marcus is doing. He's building himself a second sniper. I think he's actually reading the tech very well here. Instead of going Tier 3 for SU-85s and playing it safe, he's actually seen the fact, okay, my opponent's in Tier 2, that means he's not going to have any real tanks, so I'm going to invest heavily in anti-infantry. So even though he's sort of lost a little bit of map control while his opponent has sort of overpowered him with Tier 2, he's going to start bringing that back now. He's now got two snipers on the field, and when they open up on a PG or an MG42, that's going to really bring a lot of pain.
Yeah, it's going to force a retreat instantly on basically any squad that it shoots at. So, yeah, he's got to be careful right now, Symbiosis. He still has quite a bit of the map, but he's losing the north now, and Marcus is really doing some good things, planting mines in all of the major chokes and the crossroads up in the north here before he goes capping. He's just grabbing that VP to stop the drain, because Marcus is down to 356 compared to Symbiosis 389. So, yeah, I don't know. Right now, it's still, I think, anybody's games. But these double snipers from Marcus, this is going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very real problem. Especially, I mean, it could even be worse. With that half-track nearby, it might be tempting for Symbiosis just to sit there and take the manpower bleed while reinforcing. He does throw in the Flammenwerfer there and gets an 18A to the snout as his payback.
There are some Pios there in the center, though, at the munitions. Here comes the armored car now, trying to take some shots, but the guards in the M3 open up. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get away now. Gets Vet 2, but so does the scout car, and that can also use overdrive at Vet 1, so he could easily chase it down. He doesn't even need to chase it down due to the 18-8 going in from the conscript squad. At the same time, Symbiosis is trying to get the center VP to put the drain back on Marcus, or at least stop the drain from himself. But yeah, these double snipers now moving up in the south. Pigrand's forced to move back and reinforce at that Flammenwerfer, which was just fixed up by the Pio sweepers. I don't know. Slowly and steadily, this unit composition from the Soviet player Marcus is getting him back into the game.
Yeah, he is beginning to sort of wrap around in terms of his resource placement. Really popping away now with these double snipers. I think it's going to force tech from Symbiosis, whether he wants it or not. And of course, if he does tech to tanks, then Marcus will hopefully be waiting for him there. If he wants to carve out a win for himself, he'll hopefully be waiting with Su-85s.
Yeah, without the Su-85, a P4 right now could be, or will be, extremely devastating, as there is no counter apart from 18-8s, and as there's still Pios on the field from Symbiosis, that's going to be enough to repair the 18-8 damage quite rapidly, and it's just going to be a munition sink for Marcus. And the guards, they can take out the P4 if they get enough time, but at the same time, they can't really chase it with the N3 as it has a rotatable turret. It's going to take out the N3, and then it can just drive away from the guards.
Check this out here. We got a couple of PGs on the other side of this hedge. They're just waiting.
You can't see them.
You can't see them. Neither side.
I put on the fog of war. You can't see them.
What's over there? But whoever goes around there first is going to be in for a nasty shock. Oh, but Marcus is going to reveal them now. He's got some shock troops with PPSHs coming around and a flamer squad. They spot these PGs and they're already straight away. They get forced to retreat.
Not exactly sure who attacked who there.
Well, initially it was the Soviets. I think they were hoping to find a lone MG42 to flank, but instead they met stiff opposition.
Instead he lost the conscript squad upgraded with PPSHs as well, but here comes the double sniper. Sniper bundle in the building. Conscript gets out, but a lot of damage. What the?
Oh my god.
Destruction.
What a mine. That was, I mean, combined with the double sniper barrage right there, that was absolutely brutal. The mines have been pretty nuts, actually.
Do we have tier 4 coming up in Marcus' base? Yes, we had tier 3 coming up in Symbiosis' base. So right now, it looks like Marcus might have the counter out before the P4 hits the field, because his tier 4 building just completed, and tier 3 is only halfway done.
Yep, Marcus' T4 is complete, and he has the ability to build himself an Su-85 straight off the bat. So he's going to be ready and waiting when that P4 pops out. And Symbiosis is going to find himself in between a rock and a hard place.
The AM3, the closer to the building, saw the Flammenwerfer come up. He exited the house on the other side of the building. And the AM3 started moving down, but the Flammenwerfer was already gone. And quite lucky for Marcus as well, because the pack was actually positioned there. So if he would have gone for that Flammenwerfer, he most likely would have lost that Vet 2 M3 now. How many kills does the actual vehicle have for Marcus now? 6 kills.
6 kills, so it's not been doing too badly at all.
Quite a lot of damage though. Health damage dealt on Pigrand's and Grimms, for example.
Yes, I don't think it's been getting too many kills so much as just damage, yeah. Here come the double snipers again from Marcus. 9 and 6 kills respectively, but considering that most of those are P-Grants, you got to consider that's quite a manpower drain.
45 manpower apiece. Nice bundle in the building. If these conscripts don't get up, they do get out, however.
Whoa, I didn't save them entirely though. They did still, 2 of them go down.
Took some flak from the Flammenwerfer, which is still not repaired. Has a damage engine due to an 18-8 thrown in before. Pios up in the north capping the VPs, so Symbiosis doesn't actually have anything here down south to actually repair it. But here comes the P4 now, but the SU is already on the field.
Yeah, the SU is ready and waiting, sitting at that crossroads. Here comes
Conscript
the
squad
on track.
On retreat. Oh, P4 misses.
Ooh. But here we go, Su-85 was waiting for him. That P4
that was
is
exactly what Symbiosis didn't want to see.
But, you know, at the same time, how could he not know it was coming, really? I mean, you've sort of got to... You can't afford to be disappointed by a result like that when you know that is the preferred tech choice for, you know, 90% of Soviet players right now, if they know what they're doing.
Well, you just gotta get them, because you gotta counter the P4s, and the only real solid hard counter is the Su-85, and it just locks down all medium armor play, especially on certain maps like Pripyat, for example, with that extra long range and vision as well if you use the ability on the tank destroyers.
Or get hold of a watchtower.
Yeah, or get hold. Yeah, well, that's only on winter version.
Yes.
There's a spring version too, which is even more horrible.
look at that church. The whole front is missing.
What front?
It's like
Who needs doors?
How do you get in? You just like, oh,
walk the hell in.
you just walk in, you just step over where there used to be a wall,
A door and a wall,
and windows,
building.
and you know, wood and stuff. Now you just walk right in. It looks really cozy in there. Look at all those pews.
I don't know how much cover that actually should give to that guy that's standing in the front.
Yeah, you know, you think that guy would be pretty damn exposed where he is.
That guy should probably.
He's not even trying to take cover. He's just being lazy.
That guy's just lazy. Katusha out on the field now. That's fairly surprising. I guess it's actually a good choice against the pack, for example, and the
He's so
MG
clumped up.
stationary weapons.
Imagine if he had just aimed that just a little bit to the south there. That could have been so beautiful.
Well,
all these lovely little targets there. Well, that's where you got to have your snipers using that flare ability, because they can sit on exactly. They can sit on one side of the hedge, pop the flare over on the other, then you've got boom. Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant.
What are you guys doing over there on the other side of the hedge? Katusha! That's basically what happens then. P4 now moving down south, combined with his flammable. Our guards, he found one of the sniper teams. No lucky crits from the flames, and the second squad retreats as well as he sees the P4. The P4 doesn't want to engage this.
Oh boy.
M3, Flammable is down. M3 very damaged. The MG is enough to actually kill it. The whole MG and the top gunner on that P4 finally gets rid of that annoyance that get 2 and 3.
That was very quick reactions there from Marcos to use the overdrive. Unfortunately, it's the P4.
He still took a shot.
Yeah, he took that one first shot. Yeah, if he hadn't taken that
enough.
first shell, he might have been okay, but...
There we go. Now our Katusha barrage is actually all around this pack and MG. The MG packs up, and the pack is moving the hell away from that artillery barrage. They do not want to get nailed by one of those rockets. The MG in the building just outside of Symbiosis' space, still opening up on that church, which doesn't actually provide much cover in the front, in my opinion, but I guess still okay. No, the guy that was standing in the front actually died because there's a corpse there.
Oh, so he did.
But
well, you are now paying for your laziness, you fiend.
Engineers popping in and out of that church building to give extended line of sight for that SU against that P4 that moved up against it. SU is just sitting there waiting, but it's still out of range from the P4. I'm not exactly sure if you can even see him.
We have a second SU-85 out right now, so that P4, I predict its lifespan just halved. It's really not gonna last too long if these SUs get their teeth into it.
Interesting. Look in the axis space from Symbiosis now. 10.5 centimeter LEFH.
Ah, interesting. If Peter was here, he'd be clapping his hands, going, "Yes, yes, this is exactly what you need."
Artillery! Kill those snipers.
Well, you know, I mean, he's not going to have much like counter-snipering them, I don't think. And, you know, he does need to deal with them one way or another. And we know from Vico that where all else fails, artillery will probably succeed.
Yeah, it works now and then at least.
Here we go, he's firing it. I don't even know what the projectile looks like. He's firing it around the Katusha, in fact.
Oh, if he gets a hit on it, it's toast. But he doesn't.
Wow.
Oh, that building's toast.
Yeah, he did level that building.
Oh, that pack is not in range of that SU-85. He backed out just in time before getting shot by the pack, and the P4 is now moving down south here, but there's a second SU-85 out from Marcus that's going to pursue that P4. He gets a nice shot on some conscripts using Ura to get close enough to it to 18-8 it, but it's not going to be enough. There's 2 P4s out now, actually. 2 P4s against 1 SU. They're going to be able to gang up on it and circle strafe it and get on the rear armor and deal some proper damage to it. But, I don't know, 18-8s will slow them down, and that's going to shut down any form of circle strafing attempts. And the SU-85 in the center can always move down.
Yeah, that's the problem. As soon as you add the second SU-85 to the mix, it doesn't really matter how many P4s you've got, you're gonna lose more than you kill.
15 seconds left on the axis artillery in Symbiosis space until it can fire again. I'm not actually sure what it's going to be targeting, but I have a nice target for him. You see these conscripts down south at the VP. They were, you know, using hit the dirt. I can see it be very effective if, you know, you just wait in an engagement somewhere for him to use hit the dirt, because it actually has a cooldown before you can cancel it, and then you just arty him to pieces.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision by Marcus. He's actually chosen to rebuild his M3. He's gotten another one, and he's garrisoned his guards inside.
Highly mobile platform, extremely good to go around the map, countering harassing units, for example, and grabbing a VP here and there up in the north when it takes quite a long time to actually run over there with some infantry. Where's Artie in the center again? All around the place, sniper retreats. This other sniper squad is still...
Look at these VPs again. We're down to 95 for Symbiosis. He's really running out of time.
Triple
and
cap.
if Marcus can keep up the pressure now and squeeze out a victory in the next few minutes, that means he's actually going to go into a potential game 3 with VP lead. And, well, no prizes for guessing which faction he's going to choose.
I believe he will go for Soviets unless he really wants to prove that Axis can win and then go for Axis and not win. I
tried that in a tournament once. I ended up losing. It's a really bad decision to make. Choose it for the glory.
Play to your strong points, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. No, trying to be all machismo is never going to work out too well for you.
Look at that MG in the center, capping the middle VP. He's getting sniped out and he's sitting right next to a mine almost. How did that not detonate?
He actually retreats before he even gets a single burst off on that flame, and that's unfortunate. Now down to 55 VPs for Symbiosis. I think this is pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point. It's not going to stop Symbiosis from trying valiantly to try and prevent this cap, but the snipers are just everywhere, and he's going to lose so much manpower in the next couple of minutes.
He got some Shreks on his P-Grants, got some nice hits on one of the Su-85s, but they haven't really been doing much as the P-4s are now up in the north. I believe he forced off both a conscript and a guard squad. He's getting Katyusha a little bit, not doing much damage as the spread of the rockets are quite large, but the SUs are moving up and that's going to do a ton of damage to these unvetted P-4s. Oh, they're actually gonna meet in the center. He might get around them here, and this might be...
he is going to get around them. Marcus isn't concentrating here. It was a bit slow on backing them up. He's doing good damage. One of the Su-85s. One of the Su-85s goes down. 2 huge rear armor hits, takes it down. The other 2 are trying to go and get away. They
hit a mine,
They did eat a mine.
Yeah, there's toast.
Oh, and they actually both went down. How did the first one go down? I thought that one was home and dry.
Oh, the P4 got taken out by the SU when it was reversing from Marcus, and it actually got one lucky shot of one of the P4s. Vet 1, I know that Symbiosis has enough munitions. He probably was just not quick enough or didn't think about the blitz ability that you get at Vet 1 on the P4s. He could have maybe blitzed out of the arc of fire from that SU.
I guess we'll never know, because we are now on 15 VPs, and even though Symbiosis might be able to cap one of them, he is not going to be able to cap 2 of them or more.
He's trying to get rid of these. He's trying to get rid of the conscripts in the south, and he's got the VP in the north, but it's getting Katyushas, one of the MGs, and the MGs just not enough to counter the conscripts when they're actually already hitting the dirt.
Symbiosis might actually be able to stop the drain up here in the middle, in fact. It's going to be a tight thing. I don't know. If he does stop it, it's going to be at 1.
Oh, he might stop it at 2.
Oh,
there
wow,
we go.
okay.
He's going to stop it, and artillery is now raining down on the guards and the Katyusha. If he gets one lucky hit on the Katyusha, it's all you need. It takes it out instantly. It's extremely poorly armored.
Up here in the north, though, we're actually going to have this point. Yeah. He's going to get capped again by Marcus. And Symbiosis, unless he can get there, warp some Panzer Grenadiers over there in double quick time, I think this game has reached its conclusion.
He's running. Running. It's just whiter right now if he can stop it. The MG was, however, recrewed, and that's going to be turned against these P-Grants, and he's not going to get in the capping circle. Here comes the crush from the Su-85. Splash!
Oh my god. That looked painful to be under those treads. And there we go. That's all he needed. That's going to wrap things up now.
Over.
Yeah, that's it. The VPs do run out. Finally, Symbiosis closed out, and that gives Marcus the choice for his game 3 in this bronze match. So, we've seen several Soviet victories in a row. Certainly, if I was a betting man, I would definitely be putting my money on Marcus at this point. But should be said, neither myself nor Fatal even know who actually won this bronze match yet. Like, we haven't received any PayPal details or anything off anyone, so we legitimately don't know who actually goes on to win this. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in game 3. But I'm sure we can rely on Marcus picking Soviets.
Yeah, but at the same time, in this game and in the previous game as well, both Soviet victories, but it wasn't due to M3 spam. There was one M3 from either player.
No.
Marcus rebuilt it when he lost one, but he never had more than one on the field at the same time. It was just Soviet combined arms. There's got to be a counter to this, guard squad that basically counters light vehicles in an M3 and it can chase them around, because a guard squad on foot will never chase, a scout car or a half track around the field. It's just going to drive away and you no chance in hell to catching up to it. But in an M3, you can. And at the same time, Soviet snipers, hard to deal with as well. I'm having a hard time with Soviet snipers as well. I'm not exactly sure what to do. Sometimes, people not paying attention hit one of my mines field, for example. That's happened a couple of times. People standing on my teller mine while I rifle nade it and it explode. Even if it retreats, the explosion radius is large enough to kill them anyway. Things like that, or just run them down with a scout car, for example. But that's only players that don't guard their snipers. If the snipers are singled out somewhere, you can kill them with anything. But otherwise, the Soviet combined arms with especially snipers, strong infantry, some of the abilities like hit the dirt, for example, the combination, that's what you got to be able to crack. And it's hard. It feels like Soviets are kind of leading the meta, and the austere players has to break the meta game.
Well, we've got one final game to see whether that happens. So thanks guys for watching once again. Do join us for our third game in the bronze matches, and if you didn't already catch our finals games between Aimstrong and Sefa, do go and check those out as well. So thanks guys for watching, and we will see you next time.